Hi there everyone, Jen here. Happy New Year. It's January the 1st, 2021. I'm really sorry about the shadows on this video, but this is my second go at making this video. The first time I managed to make it with no sound whatsoever. And so anyway, I'm having another go at it. Right, so this is about making the mini album that fits inside that gift box that I showed pictures of on my group, which is at jonescrafts-uk. And just quickly run through, this is the album that I showed. This is an album which is 3¼ by 5 inches, and that is 9.5 by 12.7 centimetres. So just a quick look inside. There were photos, but you know, in case you couldn't get a good idea of it. So that's the outer cover, that's the spine. It's a 1-inch spine, and that I did for the back, and I did some fussy cutting here and here. Anyway, so this is the inside. This is just a quick run through. So on the inside front and the inside back pages, there are three waterfall flaps for you to add your pictures, like inside. On the pages, this is the first page, the little tabs, and these are the standard sized photo mats or picture mats, whatever you want to call them, and this album will take standard 4x3 photos, although I've made the tags a little bit smaller, so they'll be sort of the next size down, but it just shows you. So let me borrow this one for a minute. This is a corner tab page. Then when you turn it over, we have our side pocket, the same. This one here it's actually a plain page, but I've added the tags as a decorative element, and so that you can slip a photo, whoops, can't fit that in, slip a photo behind it. There we go, like that. Be smaller size photo than this one. Then the next page is a bottom pocket, like that, and there's the tag for, it has its own, photo mat. This is the centre of the album, and this album is identical on the left side and the right side. It's just mirrored, so everything that's on the left side is on the right side as well. So that's how those pages open, like that. Now it also opens this way, so there's your other corner pocket with your photo mat. This is a plain page, and I've just added a couple of tabs up here so that they will hold your photo. And then the whole thing opens out like that, and then it also opens this way as well, giving you your two matching corner pockets here and here. Now this is the pink colourway. Today I'm going to make the album in a different colour. Both of these are available as kits. I've got a limited number of kits, obviously, because of the amount of paper I've got. But anyway, let's crack on with it. So this is the album we're going to be making today. These are the measurements. I did actually post all of the measurements that you're going to need on the website. Not the website, on my page, so that you have it as a cut list to start with. Right, okay. So, as I say, I do apologise if I leave in, I'm not make it very clear on this. First, I'm not very good at making these videos, but I'm learning, something I'm determined to do this year. But secondly, like I said, this is the second time I've done this, and I'm not sure if I've already said something or I said it on the other video, so I hope you'll bear with me. Right, okay, so the first thing you're going to need is your front and back covers, and this is 300 GSM card weight, and that is equivalent to cereal box if you're going to use a cereal box to do this. I happen to be using this white. Okay, as I say, I'm sorry about the shadows here, but it's almost evening again. It's about 3:30, and it's just getting really dark. So you're going to need two pieces here, front and back cover, which are cut to 3¾ by 5 inches, which is 9.5 by 12.7 centimetres. Hope you can see that. You're going to want a spine, which is 5 inches by 1 inch, which is 12.7 by 2.5 centimetres. And they are out of the 300 gram 300 GSM card weight. Now you're going to need a much finer card, or paper actually, for your page covers, before the actual decorative paper goes on. This is to wrap the spine. Now this first piece on the sheet I asked you to cut. This is 160 GSM, which is not much thicker than paper really. It's probably even thinner than what most printed design papers are on, but you know, as thin as you can get it really. And this piece here, you're going to need one of these, which is 10 inches by 6 inches, which is 25.9 by 15.2 centimetres. And you need to score this at 1/2 inch along the top and bottom edges, the long edges, and 5/8 of an inch along the two sides, but don't fold it up. This is only just to help you align and how to make the album. So the first thing, you know, those score lines are for you to make sure that you get everything straight. If you can do it without the score lines, then absolutely go for it. You know, it's not essential, it's just preferable. It's the way I do it. Okay, my glue's been playing up a bit today as well, so excuse me for my cough. I hope it's going to behave itself. Let's see if I can just move my light a bit and get it a little bit lighter here at least. I hope that that's a bit better. I don't know if it is, but I hope it is. It's just really rubbish lighting at the moment, and it's getting darker very quickly. Let me just check I'm in frame. Yep, seem to be. That's good. Okay, so you take your first piece of your front cover, and I'm going to use glue on mine. You can use tape on yours or glue, whatever you prefer. I kind of prefer glue most of the time because it makes a really good bond. And it's definitely not coming apart, that's for sure. Right, okay, so we're going to use these score lines to line our card up. So make sure, as close as you can get it, that it's in place, lined up on those score lines, or against the score lines. There we go. That's one of them. That's down. Now I'm going to stick the back cover I really don't know how, I'm not very good with technology, but in the editing, when I come to try and edit this, which will be my first ever attempt at editing, I'll try to see if I can speed it up, you know, when I'm doing these mundane things like gluing and all that, because I'm sure you don't really want to watch me gluing, but as I say, at the moment I'm really not very good at doing anything technical. It's a miracle I can do the video at all, actually. Right, okay, now you'll see then that you can put the spine piece in, but that there's a gap either side, and that's what's wanted, so that when we stick this down we need to centre this up so that you have this gap, otherwise you won't be able to open and fold your album. So again, good coating of glue around the edges, bit of a squidgle in the middle. Let's pop this down. Try to line this up as closely as you can. It's really important to take some time at this point and get this right, and hopefully those score lines will help you. Right, okay, now I'm just going to go over this with my scoring tool, just to make sure that it's well adhered to the paper. If you're going to use a different colour paper, I mean, I've chosen white for my background paper, but if you're going to use a different colour paper, if you're making your own album with your own paper, then fair enough. Right, okay, now we now need to wrap this along these score lines that we've made here, so they're a real big help. So very lightly fold these over here and along the bottom as well. Try to get a good tight fit along the sides here and here. And this is a part that I would really hope I can speed up for you, because I'm just going to show you how I do this. So this is what I do with all of my albums, no matter how thick the chipboard. I'm going to cut diagonally across here, across each of the corners. So that's that top one, that's that one. So I'm just skimming past. I'm not actually cutting into the base cardstock, but I'm just skimming past it. And now what I'm going to do, if you were using a patterned paper, you would really, you know, you'd notice the benefit of this, but I'm using white, so it's not going to show up particularly well. I'll see how it does come out. But I now use these pieces that I've just cut off to reinforce the cardstock that I used for the base pages. Let's get that to line up properly. You see what I mean about fast forwarding. That's this piece. See if I can get that piece on. I'll try not to get my head in these videos. You don't really want to see the top of my head. And there's that. As I say, this helps to reinforce, you know, and strengthen the corners, which, if anything's going to get a bit battered on an album, it will be that. But it also has another function if you're using a patterned or coloured paper, which I'll tell you about in a moment. Let's get this last one stuck on. Oh goodness, I hope you can't hear my tummy rumbling. It's doing some kind of somersaults or something here. There we go. Right. Now, in order to stick these two flaps down, you start with your two outside edges first, and you run a bead of glue down here. Sorry about these horrendous shadows. Stop, do a bit here, stop and do it here. And then go around the outside. And a little squidge down the middle. And if you're new to making albums, I know that a lot of people find this a bit difficult to fold and wrap. So the way I do it is you start in the middle and you hold that down, and then you press up and out away from the edge. Up and out away from the edge like that. And then down and in on the edge. If you just simply run your bone folder straight the way across without having done that, what you might find is that all of this buckles up, and that's the problem that, you know, some certainly beginners find that they have. So I'm going to run a bead of glue down here, stop, some glue here, stop, glue, and then around the edges, and squidge a bit down the middle. And again, I'm going to fold over in the middle, hold it there while it starts to bond, and then always working from the you know, this kind of outside edge, move up like that. And again, hold on, let's see if I can get this into the light a bit more, like that. And then, only then, gently use your bone folder. Don't go mad with it, but you know, you just want to get a nice crease, but don't go mad with it, like that. And I tend to run my bone folder or scoring tool down the outside edge as well, just to make sure that I've got a nice, you know, firm crease. And then we're going to do exactly the same with these corners, so with these sides. So I'm going to run some glue down this edge here, around the edges, squidge down the middle, in the middle, hold it in the middle till it starts to stick, and then press up and in towards the album, and then outside edge in towards the album again, and only then go over it with your bone folder, and even then quite gently with this. It's not very thick paper and doesn't warrant it. Try to use your bone folder or scoring tool like a butter knife, so you use the flat edge as opposed to you know, the thin edge, if you know what I mean. I'll show you in a moment. Right, so fold up, hold it there, outside edge in and up, outside edge in and down. Right, so don't go over it sort of with the flat edge like that, which you'll find that a lot of people do. Use it as flat as you can, almost flat, as if you were spreading some butter on some toast or something, and you go over it like this. Now you need to very gently, so not applying any pressure at all really, just work your bone folder on the edge this time into these pieces here, so that you create a score line, and that is so that you can fold your very gently fold your covers up. You don't really want to go much beyond the 90°, because this album is never going to be open. It's never going to be sort of flat closed. It'll always be open or 90°. Turn it round and do the same thing the other side. Very gently work it. Very gently. Very gently. There we go, like that. So now you have your outside cover of your album, which looks like this. Okay. Right, now we need a piece for this centre here, and because I used it for my other album, I haven't cut one again for here, but let me just quickly cut one. Something always kind of throws me, goes wrong a bit. Right, so you need another piece of this fairly thin cardstock, and I'm just using some scraps that I have, and this needs to be 4 3/4 by hold on, I'm just referring to my sheet here. I didn't have it written down. It's 4 3/4. So sorry about this. Maybe I have it on this piece of paper. Just give me one moment. It's 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. So let me just get my cutting tool here. 4 3/4, which is there, by 1 3/4. Now this is your spine cover. It's included in the measurements that I gave you, just that I couldn't quickly locate it there. So 4 3/4 by 1 3/4 is, in centimetres, that is 12.2. You just need to double check this yourself, because I don't use centimetres, I'm not so good at them actually, and this looks like 4.4. Right, okay, so we need to use this to cover this spine on the inside. And you need to apply a good amount of glue all over this, because this is the piece that is quite central, you know, it's quite important to the album, because it takes the weight of all the pages and all the photos that you're going to, or pictures, whatever you're going to put in here. And I think I mentioned in the write-up about this that I managed to get 29 photos in this album. They're small photos obviously, but I got 29 in there, so I'm conservatively saying 25 plus photos. Okay, so we've centered this up on here. You'll find that there's a 1/4 inch gap here and 1/4 inch gap here. No, sorry, an 1/8 inch gap either end. But basically, make sure that there's the same gap here as there is here, and that you've got this centered across these two score lines. So now, once this is dry, we're going to really go over this with the bone folder, with the score tool, bone folder, whatever you want to call it. It's called a bone folder because it used to be made of a piece of flat bone, a piece of shoulder blade, believe it or not, when crafts were done in the 1800s. Now we're going to again run our score tool fairly gently up and down that score line from the inside, just so that we sort of get it back again, like this. And then a trick that I can sort of show you here, what I like to do is to use a ruler to hold this all still. I mean, you don't have to, this is just a tip that I'm giving you. And very gently, you've got something to brace this cover against, so that you can push this up. And you can see that I'm trying to do it in stages. Okay. And I'm just reinforcing it with my finger. I'm not using the bone folder on that at all. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing here. I'm going to put my ruler or straight edge against here, just as something to brace it against. Gently, 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 gently get this to stand up. If you try to do it in one go, you may well split the paper, but by doing it gently like that, it persuades it rather than forces it. Persuasion is better than force, isn't it? Right, now that gives you again your outside cover of your folder, and now we have the spine covered as well. Excuse me while I have a quick drink. Right, now that I have this in this position, I'm going to turn my turn it over, and I'm going to mark a line in the centre of this folder to guide where I'm going to put the ribbon. So the folder's 5 inches, therefore 2.5 inches is the centre, and I'm going to put a little line that doesn't go right up to the edge. I don't want it to show. And I'm going to take it up to the spine here, but not kind of not right. Don't put your little mark right over the spine. I'm going to do it on the spine. here, maybe in the middle, so I can see what I'm doing. Just a little line. Then the other side of the spine here, and then turn it round and just a little bit away from the edge here, so again 2.5 inches. I'm using my Tim Holtz centralising ruler, which is just invaluable as far as I'm concerned. Right, okay, now we're going to need 1/4 inch tape for this. You can do it with glue if you want to, but I'm going to use my 1/4 inch tape. Now you start your tape a little bit away from the spine and you finish it a little bit away from the outside edge. Don't take it right up to the spine and don't take it right to the edge. And again, you just need a little bit in the middle. Don't go near the fold lines. And here again, just a little bit away from the spine and stop short of the edge. Okay. Use your bone folder and press that down. Really burnish it well so that it sticks. And here's where we put our ribbon. So we have about 20 inches, I think it is, of ribbon. And we're going to fold that in half, make a little fold line, crease line if we can. And we're going to remove the backing tape along the spine, line up our centre of our ribbon and make sure that kind of goes in the middle and press that down. Okay, now we can't just stick the ribbon all the way down. I'll show you why in a moment. But what you need to do now is to fold your album back up to where it will be before you remove your score tape. Back in, like that. And then bring your ribbon forward so that it covers it. And press that down. Turn your album over, still with it closed. Remove your backing. Bring your ribbon forward and line it up so that it's equal here. Okay? And the reason you can't just do it flat, I'll show you, is because when you open your album up, there are 2 distinct loops here. And if you had simply run your ribbon straight the way across, then you can't then fold your album up because it's too tight around the bends here, around the folds. Right, okay, so that's my front part, that's my main cover. This is the paper I'm using. It looks like this on the album. When it's put together, it's absolutely beautiful. It's a really gorgeous line of paper and different to the pink one. I mean, you can have the pink one or you can have this one. This is a gorgeous sort of teal colour. I think you'd call it teal. So this is my front sheet and I'm just going to run some glue around here on the edges. Keep going. Hope I'm still in shot. Try not to come out. With glue in the middle. And I'm going to line this up. Just take your time and try to do this as carefully as you can. You'll find that there's a small gap, about 1/8 of an inch all the way round. That gives us a nice white border. There we go. I really, really hope that this is filming with sound. Don't know what happened last time, but I've rebooted the phone and hopefully it will be okay this time. So that's that. Now I'm going to do the spine. edges. Sorry, I keep bringing it into myself instead of remembering to do it at arm's length. Okay, again, line this up, and as best you can, try to make sure that it's lined up along the top edge here. It's the part that people notice the first. It's a tip for cards as well, actually. If you want to make cards, make sure if you're going to make sure you line up an edge, line up the top edge. Right, let's just check. I think that that's okay. Let me just make sure. Yep, that gives a nice white border all round. Let me just go over that with my scoring tool. And then I'm going to stick the back down, and the back goes this way, doesn't it? Or does it go that way? Hold on. Yes, it goes that way. There we go. Oh, there goes my tummy again. And the back's not going to take any weight at all, so it's, you know, you don't need to kind of go massively with the glue on this, just a little bit. It's quite good at holding. The glue I always use is, sorry, just while I'm lining this up, is Cosmic Shimmer. It's as good as the, in my opinion anyway, it's as good as the art glitter glue, but a fraction of the price actually, even though it's not terribly cheap itself. It's certainly cheaper than art glitter glue, which I think the last time I looked at it was about £18 a bottle, and this is £7. Okay, so that's my front and back cover done. The cut measurements I've given you all on the group. I gave it as a cut list. Hold on, let me just make sure I put it here as well, just in case you haven't seen it. So this, excuse all my scribbles all over the place, but this, in case you haven't seen it, is the cut list. So you can just freeze frame it. And that's the remainder of the cut list, all the pieces that you're going to need. Right, okay, so that's the outer cover of our album completed. Looks really beautiful. Now we're just about to do the inside pages, all of these inside pages, which, as I say, I filmed once and then filmed it without any sound. Don't know how I did that, but hey ho. Right, so we're going to set this aside for a moment, and what we're going to need next are our two pieces of card which measure, oops, let's turn it round, which measure 10.5 inches by 4 3/4, and I've called these just the inner pages. So there's an inner page right and an inner page left. Now you're going to need to score these, and the score lines are, and it doesn't matter whether your scoreboard starts from 0 and goes this way, or like mine starts at 0 and goes this way. You're still going to end up with the same result. So your score lines are going to be at 1/4 inch down this short edge, so 1/4 inch, which is 0.6 centimeters, at 3 5/8 inches, which is 9.2, at 4 inches, which is 10.1, at 7 1/4 inches, which is 18.4, and at 7 3/8, which is 18.7, that is just 1/8 of an inch, this one here. And we're going to fold them up in a particular way. So let's take this one. They're both going to be done the same. So the first thing I'm going to do is along this 1/4 inch edge here, I've put a 1/4 inch tape. Now if you're going to use glue, that's fine. Obviously don't put it on now, but that's where this is going to go. Okay, so if you've used 1/4 inch tape, you fold that piece under like that. Then at your 3 5/8, you score that. You fold that under like that. And you only need to finger press this. This doesn't need to be done with the bone folder. Okay, and open it up again. And at the 4 inch one, you're going to fold that under as well. Make sure all the while that you line up these two outside edges so that this is all completely lined up here, down these edges here and here. Okay, now you're going to open this up again, and when you get to the 7 1/4 inch, you're going to fold it towards you instead. So it's the other way. So you fold it towards you, again finger press it, and then at the 7 3/8, you very carefully fold it towards you again. It takes a bit of fiddling about, and another tip really is to do exactly as we did before. Put your straight edge or your ruler against it and use that to push against, because it's such a small fold. Now, having done that, you will end up with a piece that looks like this, or two pieces that look like this. Okay, so how to fix them into the album. You take the album, open it up, and these two pieces, when they're folded up, let me show you, like this, you'll see that there is a thicker spine here. It's just under 1/2 an inch, just 3/8 of an inch. We want those two to go together in the book so that they're like that, and the outside page goes like that. So that's the way we're going to put it in the book. And when you turn it over, this is your score tape side, your 1/4 inch score tape that we're going to adhere. Okay, so one of them you'll need to turn round, because as you've scored it and as you've folded it up, it will be the wrong way up. But just manipulate it and have a fiddle about with it until you get it to look like that first. Okay, right, so taking your left piece, and the left piece here has the larger spine to the right, the single page part to the left, and it also has the fold to the left. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to stick this onto the spine. Let's move this one out of the way so it's not confusing. Now where you have your score line here for the page to go up, we're going to stick this down so that it is just about, it's level with our spine cover, top and bottom, which is slightly smaller than the actual album page, but it is also about 1/8 of an inch, which I think we said was it's about 3 millimeters. So we're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters gap between the edge of the gusset here and that score line. Okay, so let's remove our backing tape. And we are going to line this up about 1/8 of an inch. Make sure that we get it level, top and bottom, and that the pages are going to open before we push that down, that it's going to open level with the top of that and the bottom of that spine cover before we press it down. There we go. Get out of the way, and we will score that. Sorry if you can hear some squeaking in the background, that's my little dog having a game with his Christmas toy. Okay, so that folds up and that goes to that side, that goes to the left side. Now the right one, again, like I say, we're going to make sure that it's in the right position, which is in, you know, kind of, you've turned it round, it's upside down, so that you get these two spines going together and this outside page going here. So again, we're going to move that out of the way, open it up. We're going to take the backing off of our score tape. And we're going to, oops, stop messing about. We're going to apply that to the other side, again with the same provisos. You leave it 1/8 of an inch or about 3 millimeters. Press down at one end, line it up carefully at the other end. There. And then give it a press, and then that you can certainly go over with your bone folder like that, and like that. You will notice once the pages are folded up that you have a little, when you fold this up, you have a gap here before the page turns over. You also have a gap between the two pages in the middle, and you have a gap at the end here before this folds up. And that, let's turn it over the right way so we don't have it upside down anymore. And that is the basis of your album. So the page is open like this. This is your entire pull-out page that opens this way and this way. This is the other one, this way and this way, and that's the back. Okay, that's enough for this first video, and the next video I'm going to do will show you how we attach the waterfall and all of the insides to this little tiny cute little mini album, which looks like that from the top view. Okay, so now I have a couple of them. Thank you for watching.